the Edmonton Oilers, Bruno. Those who listen to our show know you're a pretty big fan of that team. You like to, in the way that you like to talk about that team, and you seem pretty fired up before the show. Anything you want to elaborate on that game or the Oilers specifically as a franchise?
I got to get this off my chest, Lepore, and I don't give a shit what any Oilers fan or any other hockey fan tells me. This team sucks.
Oh,
okay.
Hard word.
This team is a disaster. And you could look at the standings and tell me they're only 4 points behind the Leafs for first in the Canadian division. You can talk to me all day long about Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl. Listen, I'm not an idiot. I watch these guys all the time. They're both incredible hockey players. But when those two guys are not on the ice for the Edmonton Oilers, this team is a completely different hockey team. And I can't be the only person that has identified this season. I mean, it is glaringly obvious to me, Michael Lepore, when Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid are not on the ice, this team cannot generate any offense. They can't sustain any sort of pressure in the offensive zone. When I've watched the Leafs specifically play this team this season, okay, the Leafs have dominated pretty much every single game. When you look at the metrics, and again, we talk about this all the time, the shot share, the scoring chances, the high danger chances. The Leafs, I mean, are just really dominating every single game against Edmonton. And right now, if you can give me the Edmonton Oilers in a first round series, serve that shit up on a silver platter to me right now.
Bruno.
Okay, because
not afraid at all.
I am just not worried one bit about this team.
Not afraid at all.
It's crazy that when those two guys aren't on the ice, this team has zero ability to generate scoring chances. And don't talk to me about Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Listen, he's a good player, and he's probably the only legitimate top six forward on this team outside of McDavid and Draisaitl. But you go down this roster, this team essentially has three legitimate top six forwards. And talk to me all you want about Tyson Barrie. I'm a big Tyson Barrie fan. He runs the power play well. He's got a ton of points this year. He still has a lot of defensive holes in his game. And listen, shout out to Darnell Nurse. I think he's having a phenomenal season, the best season he's had in his NHL career. But at the end of the day, Lepore, this team has so many holes. And sure, can they beat the Leafs once or twice in a 7-game series? Of course they can. Of course they can. They got McDavid and Draisaitl. And like we talked about, they can get, some rush chances. After the Leafs dominate 90% of the play, can they get a rush chance the other way and score on a 2-on-1 or a 3-on-1? Of course they can, Lepore. They can win a couple of games against this team in a 7-game series. But who the fuck is this Oilers team going to beat in a playoff series? Which good team can this Oilers team beat in a playoff series? I just don't see it. I don't know if you're on the same page as me, but I'm just sick and tired of hearing about this Oilers team and how they're a threat. This team is zero threat, Michael Lepore. Zero threat. I had to get this off my chest.
Zero threat to win a playoff series.
To win a playoff series against a legitimate team, against a team that actually has the ability to win a Stanley Cup.
Okay,
Let me specify that.
I put a briefcase on the table with $1 million in it, and I say the Montreal Canadiens are playing the Edmonton Oilers in a playoff series. You don't even think about it, Montreal.
Well, see, Montreal, I don't view them as a Stanley Cup. so that's a series that I could see going either way. But I mean, you put Edmonton up against, we could go through the other divisions. So let's say the Leafs, Colorado, Vegas.
Yeah, but those are really good teams.
Tampa,
I wouldn't put many teams against those good teams.
But here's the thing is that I think Oilers fans specifically, they look at McDavid and Draisaitl and they go, oh my God, we have two of the top 5 players in the world. And Tyson Barrie's having a career season and Darnell Nurse is having a career season. And you guys have 5 players that are good. That's it. You got 5 or 6 legitimate players. And I honestly don't think that I'm exaggerating this, Lepore. Jesse Puljujarvi, okay, everyone loves to talk about Puljujarvi, coming back to the Oilers. I'm just going to pull up his numbers right now, okay? This is a guy who has 13 points in 37 games with exposure to 2 of the top 5 players in the world, and you have 13 points in 37 games. Kyler Yamamoto, who was a point-a-game player last year. Oilers fans told me Kyler Yamamoto, point-a-game player last year, almost playing with Draisaitl, 17 points in 36 games. He's taken a step back.
Wow.
This team has no top six forwards outside of McDavid, Draisaitl, and Ryan Nugent-Hopkins.
What give the Oilers numbers up? What's Nuge at? What are his numbers
so
at?
Nuge has 28 points in 38 games, which is solid.
Yeah, good for him.
That's really solid.
Yeah, but cleaning up a lot of garbage. Sure, I'm sure a lot of
and of
freebie
course, when
second
you're playing
assists.
With Connor McDavid 90% of the time, yeah, of course you're going to be probably at almost a point a game, right?
Yeah.
So I just really had to get that off my chest. And yes, can the Oilers beat the Habs in a 7-game series? Yeah, I think they can. Can they beat the Jets in a 7-game series? Possibly. But if they're playing one of the top, let's call it 6 to 8, like actual really good teams that have a chance to win the Stanley Cup.
Like it's not even a thing in your mind.
It's not even a thing. It's just not. And I don't care if McDavid goes crazy. Because again, we've seen him do that. I've seen him do that last season against Chicago in the qualifying round. I think he had 9 points in 4 games, and they lost the series. So
I know his numbers were that good, and they lost.
Yeah, I mean, he had 9 points in 4 games. Draisaitl had almost 2 points a game, and they lost to the Chicago Blackhawks.
I guess I just don't remember because they lost. Okay.
So. Like Oilers fans, you can come at me if you want, but I really have to get that off my chest.
You can get a good night's sleep last night, Bruno. What's going on? Your Tim Hortons was a little cold in the drive-thru. I don't know what happened.
I'm a little fired up today.
I love it. Yeah, I guess we can move on if you're done.
I'm done. I promise I'm done now.
Great jersey though, Oilers fans. We love your swag. I love Oilers swag.